in the quiet hum of a suburban strip mall in suburban Chicago, where the scent of fresh pizza mingled with the faint whiff of nail polish from the salon next door. Alex Harper sat at his cluttered desk, staring at a spreadsheet that refused to balance. It was a Monday morning in early spring, the kind where the world outside buzzed with ordinary life, commuters grabbing coffee, kids heading to school, but inside his small accounting firm, something insidious was unraveling. Alex had built his life on the reliability of figures, 12 years crunching numbers for local mom-and-pop shops, startups scraping by, and retirees planning their golden years. Numbers were his sanctuary. They didn't twist words or harbor secrets. They simply revealed the truth, cold and unyielding. But today, as he pored over the financials of Emily Carter, the celebrated Olympic swimmer whose graceful dives had captivated millions, the numbers weren't just off. They were howling a betrayal that clawed at his gut. A slow-building storm of deceit from the one man Emily had called family. Emily walked into Alex's office that day looking every bit the unassuming athlete she was, mid-20s, toned from endless laps in chlorinated pools, her damp hair pulled back in a simple bun, clad in a faded hoodie and leggings. No entourage, no flash of fame. She'd been referred by her old teammate, Sarah Mills, who swore by Alex's no-nonsense approach. "I need help with my taxes," Emily said, her voice steady but laced with an undercurrent of unease, like a ripple on still water. "I've never really handled them myself. My coach, Michael, takes care of everything. But I want to know what's going on." "Is that stupid?" Alex leaned back in his creaky chair, sensing the weight behind her words. "Not stupid at all. It's smart. Your money is your future. Why let someone else hold all the strings?" She nodded, but her eyes darted away, as if admitting doubt felt like disloyalty. Michael Reeves had been Emily's anchor since she was 9, spotting her raw talent at a community pool in the Midwest and molding her into a 2-time gold medalist. He negotiated her sponsorships with big names like Speedo and Gatorade, turning her into a household icon. To Emily, he was more than a coach. He was the father figure who'd filled the void left by her absent dad, the one who'd cheered her through injuries and defeats. "He's sacrificed everything for me," she'd say, her voice thick with gratitude. But as Alex began sifting through the initial pile of documents Emily brought, a jumble of bank statements, endorsement contracts, and tax forms signed in haste, the cracks appeared. Small at first, like hairline fractures in ice, but deepening with every entry. Her Speedo deal alone was worth $4 million annually, yet her accounts showed only $2.8 million deposited. Where was the rest? Management fees, perhaps? But Michael's contract capped at 15%, reasonable for guiding a star athlete. The math didn't hold. That night, Alex couldn't shake it. He paced his modest apartment, the city lights of Chicago flickering through the window like distant warnings. Why would a coach get defensive about transparency? Emily had mentioned offhand that Michael might be upset she was seeking outside help. "He says I should focus on the water, not the paperwork." Red flag. It gnawed at him, a quiet tension building like pressure in a fault line. Over the next weeks, Alex dove deeper, requesting more records. Emily hesitated but complied, smuggling boxes of papers past Michael's watchful eye. The discrepancies mounted, inflated fees disguised as consulting services from a company called Reeves Elite Management, registered solely to Michael. No staff, no real operations, just a pipeline siphoning her earnings. A supposed $1.5 million investment in a luxury resort development that flopped, but a quick cross-check revealed the project thriving. Profits funneled straight to Michael's personal accounts. And the personal drains, his lakeside home mortgage, a sleek Porsche lease, Even dues for an exclusive golf club in the suburbs, all billed as training expenses on her dime. By the time Alex tallied it, $9.2 million vanished over 7 years. The rage simmered low in his chest. A doused fire waiting for oxygen. This wasn't sloppy bookkeeping, it was predation. Calculated and cruel. Preying on Emily's blind trust. She'd been a child when it started. Her endorsements rolling in after her first nationals at 16. Michael had positioned himself as her guardian. But in reality, he'd been her parasite. Alex's hands trembled as he printed the report. A thick binder of evidence that felt heavier than stone. Telling her would shatter her world. But silence? That would make him complicit in the theft. Emily arrived for the meeting with a tentative smile, clutching a coffee like a shield. But as Alex laid it out, spreadsheets glowing on his screen, arrows pointing to the leaks, she froze. Her face drained of color, eyes widening in disbelief. "No," she whispered, shaking her head as if to dispel the nightmare. "Michael wouldn't. He's family. He believed in me when no one else did." The words hung in the air, laced with the raw ache of denial. Alex pushed gently, showing the trails, fake invoices, offshore hints buried in footnotes. "The numbers don't lie, Emily. He's been bleeding you dry." Tears welled. But anger flashed too, a spark in the gathering storm. "You're wrong. You have to be." She stormed out, binder clutched under her arm, leaving Alex alone with the echo of her pain. Betrayal cut deepest when it came from those we loved. And Emily's loyalty was her armor and her cage. The threats came swiftly, like shadows lengthening at dusk. First, a call from Michael himself, his voice slick with false calm turning to ice. "Mr. Harper, you're meddling in things you don't understand. Back off, or I'll make sure your little firm crumbles under lawsuits you can't afford." Alex's pulse raced, but he held firm. "The truth will come out, Mr. Reeves." Then, the intimidation escalated, 2 burly men in a dark sedan cornering him in the parking lot after hours. Drop it, or regret it. Fear gripped him. But so did resolve. These weren't the actions of an innocent man, they were the desperate flails of a cornered thief. Sarah, Emily's friend, reached out next, her voice urgent over the phone. Emily's spiraling. Michael's twisting her mind, saying you're out for her money, jealous of their bond. But Sarah had her own suspicions. Unearthed from old videos and chats, a backstage clip where Michael bragged about rerouting funds without Emily knowing. A brochure for that failed resort that was anything but. "She's loyal to a fault," Sarah said. But this might crack her. Alex enlisted a forensic expert. David Klein, a grizzled ex-FBI agent with a nose for financial rot. David's review peeled back layers Alex had missed: shell entities, layered transfers hinting at $13 million total. "This guy's a pro at hiding in plain sight," David muttered. "Preys on trust like a wolf in sheep's clothing." The evidence piled up, a dam ready to burst. Emily finally cracked under the weight, calling Alex late one night, her voice breaking. "I confronted him. He exploded. Made me feel like the villain for doubting him. Manipulation's cruel hook." They met in secret, and Alex walked her through it all again, watching her world fracture. Tears streamed as she whispered, "He was my everything. How could he?" The pain twisted into fury, a slow burn igniting. "I want him to pay. For every lie. Every dollar." The confrontation was electric, charged with years of suppressed rage. In Michael's lavish office, furnished with Emily's stolen wealth, she faced him, voice steady despite the tremor in her hands. "Where's my money, Michael?" "The millions you've siphoned." He denied, deflected, then threatened, "I'll ruin you. Your sponsors. Your reputation gone." But Emily, forged in the fire of betrayal, stood tall. "You already tried. Now it's my turn." They filed charges, embezzlement, fraud, the works. The media storm hit like a tidal wave, headlines screaming, "Olympic star betrayed by mentor," drawing other victims forward. Athletes who'd suffered in silence under Michael's shadow. The FBI swooped in. Arrests followed. Michael's empire crumbling under the weight of irrefutable proof. In court, as Michael pleaded guilty, his apology rang hollow. "I thought I deserved it. For building you." Emily stared, silent. The cost etched in her eyes, the lost trust, the shattered illusions. He got 8 years. Restitution of $8 million clawed back through seized assets. But victory tasted bitter. Emily's scars ran deep. Nights haunted by what-ifs. The price of her delayed awakening. She rebuilt, hiring Alex as her full-time financial guardian. Their bond forged in the crucible of truth. Together, they launched the Carter Athlete Empowerment Fund, educating young stars on spotting red flags, reading contracts, claiming their power. No more silence, Emily vowed, her voice a quiet thunder. Years on, Alex's firm thrived. A beacon for the vulnerable. Emily coached from the sidelines, her life reordered. But the shadows lingered, a reminder that revenge, while just, extracted its toll, eroded faith, lingering doubt. In the end, the numbers had spoken. But the heart paid the steepest price.